Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Ayers, and I'm here today to discuss the Electoral College and why it should be replaced. Let's first take a look at some background information on the Electoral College. As described in archives.gov, it is a system put into place to help choose the president and vice president along with the popular vote. It's made up of 538 electors, one elector for each member of the House, one elector for each member of the Senate, and 3 electors are awarded to Washington, D.C. because it's not a state, but it does have a say in who the president is. And it's a winner-take-all system. So if you win the popular vote in a certain state, you win that state's electoral college votes. All of them in a clean sweep. And if we take a look at the argument that they give, that they want to make sure that the smaller states receive more of an equal say in who becomes president. In 1787, I could see that argument because it's a smaller landscape, not as many states, not as many people taking part in the election. I get it. But in today's environment of 50 states, where most of them before election night are already chosen, red states, blue states, and that means red states are Republican, blue states Democrat. And then you have a handful of states which they like to call battleground states or swing states, which are the ones who basically have the most say in who becomes president based on the system. Each candidate has a narrow path, if they win certain states, on how to get to the presidency. So their argument that the smaller states will receive more representation just doesn't pan out. And you can go to 270towin.com each election cycle to see who the battleground states are. Now, most of the time they don't change. Most of the time the battleground states are within 1 or 2 or are always the same. So their argument again to say, well, we'll give the smaller states more of a say if we do this, the Electoral College, I just don't see it in today's landscape. Also, we don't use the popular vote, we don't use any other method in any other election other than the popular vote, just the presidential election. And we are the only country who chooses its leader this way, who doesn't solely use the popular vote to choose its leader. Now, what are some solutions, possible solutions? And the National Center for Policy Analysis has given us a few. One would be a direct popular vote with runoffs for the top 2 candidates that don't receive 40% of the vote. Another would be a proportional system. Keep the Electoral College, but make it a proportional system where the person does not, it's not a winner-take-all system. In other words, if you win 40% of the vote, you get 40% of the electoral votes. If you win 70% of the vote, you get 70% of the electoral vote, and your opponent gets 30%. It divides the Electoral College up instead of making it a winner-take-all system. And it would also open up, that way I think would open up more paths and give states more of a say in who becomes president. In closing, I understand that it's not going to change in any time soon, but this is just something to think about. 5 times in our history, we've chosen the person by popular vote that did not win the presidency, and it happened twice in this century, 2000 and 2016. So the will of the people is not always being stated. As it says in the Constitution, the government is the will of the people. Well, will of the people is not always what it comes down to. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.